Hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please subscribe and keep watching for more detailed videos. You won't believe Port Charles on September 16th. Tension, betrayal, emotional eruptions. Nina Reeves finally reaches her breaking point. She can't hold it in any longer. The simmering strain between her, Drew Kane, and Willow Tate has been growing unbearably tight. And now the lid's about to blow off. Let's start with what pushed Nina over the edge. Willow's doing what Willow does, believing she's in control, that she's acting independently. But Nina sees things differently. In her eyes, Willow is still being manipulated by Drew. Despite Willow's insistence that she's making choices of her own, Nina accuses Drew of pulling the strings, of steering Willow in ways that serve him rather than Willow's well-being. Nina's frustration isn't just about Willow. It's about herself, her failure, what she missed, what she tried to do to protect her daughter. And that guilt, that mix of anger and fear, is what causes Nina to snap. Picture this scene: Nina confronting Willow, heated voices, desperation, raw emotion. Willow defends herself. She points out that Nina's interference is hurting more than helping. She insists she knows what she's doing, that she's not the naive daughter in some scheme. And then Nina lashes out. She screams. The only person calling the shots is Drew. Nina is accusing Willow, calling into question her autonomy, her judgment. It's brutal and it's heartbreaking at the same time. Because even as Nina tries to protect Willow, her efforts feel like betrayal in Willow's eyes. Betrayal of her freedom, her trust. What's driving Nina isn't merely fear of Drew's influence. It's fear of losing Willow entirely. When Willow doesn't seem open to seeing things Nina's way, it cuts deep. Nina's love for her daughter is fierce. Her protectiveness almost suffocating. She's been trying to manage fallout from earlier betrayals, Britt Westbourne's return, Liesl Albrecht's anger, the tangled history with Drew. All of it weighs on her until she just can't take the tension anymore. Meanwhile, Drew, always somewhere in the middle of the storm. He's the person Nina believes keeps Willow unsteady. Willow may love him, may believe in him, but Nina sees manipulation, concealment, power moves masked as concern or affection. And that belief puts Drew in the crosshairs, or at least his influence does. Whatever Drew does next, whether he doubles down or backs off, the consequences are going to reverberate between Nina and Willow unlike anything before. Then there's Willow herself. She's trying to assert something: identity, boundaries, maybe even redemption. She's caught between Nina's protective rage and Drew's controlling ways, or perceived control. Willow has to decide. Does she believe her mother's accusations, or does she stay loyal to Drew's version of things? And that decision could change everything. Their relationships, the trust they have, the alliances in Port Charles. All this is set against the backdrop of heavy emotional drama elsewhere in Port Charles, other characters dealing with loss, betrayal, absence. But Nina, Willow, and Drew's triangle is the emotional core of this particular moment. Because in a soap, it's not just what you say, it's what you don't say. The glances, the silence, the weight of past lies. Nina's snap is years in the making. Let's zoom in a little more. Molly Lansing Davis is growing deeply suspicious about her father, Rick Lansing. She doesn't understand where he really is. His sudden digital detox doesn't sit right with her. She hasn't heard from him. And the absence is making her anxious. Not knowing drives her toward Elizabeth Baldwin. She confides in Liz. Have you heard from my dad? But Liz doesn't have answers. And none of Molly's worry knows the truth that Rick is being held captive in Alexis's basement. It's a kind of echo of Nina's situation. Not knowing, worrying about someone you love, but also being shielded from the truth, in this case unbeknownst to Molly. The tension builds because secrets always do. Christina Corinthos Davis, meanwhile, steps in around Cody Bell. She offers encouragement. In a sense, she's trying to hold things together in Port Charles, hold Molly up even as Molly is slipping into worry and fear. It's a reminder that love and friendship can sometimes act as lifelines when everything else feels chaotic. Then there is Britt Westbourne. Britt is back. She questions whether coming back to Port Charles, returning to this mess, was the right move. She wonders whether, in some twisted way, her life would have been simpler if she had stayed dead in the minds of others. But Jason Morgan isn't letting her hide. He's not letting her give up on herself or on the possibility of something better. Jason offers her a secure place to live, financial stability, someone who believes in her. It's a subplot, but it resonates. Brit's struggle is about reclaiming identity, re-entering a world that has moved without her, facing the consequences of resurrection in Soap Land, in every sense. But despite Brit's return and her own problems, the Nina-Willow-Drew tension is the gravitational core. Everything else orbits around it. Because Nina's blast at Willow isn't just a fight, it's a test. A test of loyalty, of truth, of what Willow will believe, what she's willing to sacrifice. Now, let's imagine what this could lead to. After Nina's outburst, Willow could go one of several ways. She might shut Nina out completely. After all, being told you're wrong, manipulated. If Willow truly believes she is acting with full agency, then Nina's accusations might feel like betrayal. That could push a wedge between them that isn't easy to repair. On the other hand, Willow could have doubts, cracks, memories of things Nina said. She could begin to wonder whether things aren't quite as she sees them. Drew's actions, his secrets, maybe even his motives, these might be scrutinized more closely. Willow may start seeing fault lines she tried hard to ignore. As for Nina, what happens after the snap matters. Does she regret it? Does she double down? Does she try to explain, to apologize, to prove she's on Willow's side? Or does she feel justified in drawing a line, in fighting for herself, for her daughter? Her next steps can either heal or deepen the rift. In any case, all eyes in Port Charles will be watching. Because when families collide with love, control, secrets, each character is forced to face themselves. What is Drew hiding or resisting? What is Willow willing to accept or defend? And what will mother and daughter do when their ideas of protection and betrayal clash? To close, here's what to tune in for: Nina's confrontation. The moment she loses control. Willow's response: will she lash out or retreat? What secrets will be exposed? What truths will be re-examined? And most important, will Port Charles ever see things the same between Nina and Willow? Because when trust is broken, sometimes the worst damage comes from what you believe happened, not just what did. Come back to our channel for all your updates. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel.